So it looks like Jordan Clarkson's a little unhappy with the minutes he's getting on the team, huh? Alright, I don't have a problem with that. We can work something out. What I do have a problem with though is he decided to leak this to the media. Now I got the press all in my face asking me about it. We don't answer those types of questions, folks, but we'll deal with Clarkson in a future episode. But let's get into the gameplay. What's going down, folks? It's your boy C23 back on the sticks once again with another NBA 2K16 MyGM episode for you guys, and we got a lot to get into in this one. Of course, we're going to talk a little NBA free agency, and also I'm going to share with you guys my thoughts on why I think the NBA is in real trouble. So let's get into it now. Before free agency officially got underway, I'm sitting there combing through all the free agent rumors with my Lakers filter, seeing who we might pick up, who we might trade for, and this and that, just to put together a list on what I think the Lakers could look like come next season. Anyway, free agency officially kicks off, and who do the Lakers pick up first? Timothy Mozgov. Yeah. Now, let me just be real with you guys. I didn't really think anything of the move at first. I thought it was just going to be one of those picks that come along with a flurry of other moves, so in the end it really didn't matter until I saw the contract. Mozgov signed for a guaranteed $64 million. $64 million. My mind was just blown at that point, folks. But I don't know, maybe Mozgov had about a dozen other teams lined up on his front lawn trying to get him to sign at midnight. But what's more likely the case is that the Lakers realized that nobody else was going to come and play center, so they had to get somebody, and he was the only guy available that seemed somewhat interested in playing for a rebuilding team, so I'll take that. So that's 64 mil guaranteed as Jordan Clarkson just throws it down over two people right there. Clarkson just blows right by Conley, elevates, cocks it back and throws it down before Nene can come over and challenge the shot. But Jordan just signed his own $50 million deal, which is just great for the franchise, especially when you consider guys like Evan Turner getting $70 million. There's no doubt in my mind that Jordan left a lot of money on the table to stay in LA. And we appreciate that too, because Jordan could be a legit star in the next 2-3 seasons. We also brought in Luol Deng and traded for Calderon. Those two guys are going to be instrumental in the locker room for sure, as well as key contributors off the bench as well. So I really don't feel bad about either of those moves. Of course, I would have loved to have signed KD or one of the other bigger names out there, but the reality is we're a young team, we're rebuilding, and it's going to take a little bit of time to get back to where we were. So I'm okay with that. Speaking of KD though, that man just said, forget the world, I'm doing me, and I'm going and taking my talents to Golden State. I honestly did not see that coming. Did any of you guys think that KD would do that? I mean, he caught me completely off guard, you guys. I thought he would take a couple of visits, sit down with a few GMs, tour some facilities, and then ultimately go back to Oklahoma City. But he just packed up and left. And it really didn't seem like he thought twice about it either. He made his decision pretty quickly, and that lets me know that he intended to leave from the jump, you guys. There was really no hesitation in the decision at all. I think he only took like a day and a half, 2 days tops, and announced that he was going to Golden State. And that is a crazy move that just shakes up the NBA landscape for at least the next few seasons. And folks, the Golden State Warriors are just flat out scary right now. And unless you have a team full of Kawhi Leonards or LeBrons, I really don't know how you defend all of those positions. It really is just going to be pick your poison out there with all those shooters. Now, do I like the move? I say yes and no, and here's why. As a basketball fan that just purely watches the sport for entertainment, it'll probably be the most entertaining team to watch on TV. Purely from that perspective, I really like the move. But as a competitor and a basketball fan that grew up during the Jordan era, I really hate KD for making this move. It was the worst decision that he could have made. Going all the way back to when the Sonics drafted KD, they brought him in to be the franchise guy so they can build a team around him. He was their superstar, their savior. He just abandons the team. And I really can't help but think, would MJ have done that? Would Magic, Bird, Isaiah Thomas, any of those guys, would they have done it? I don't think so. I know times were different. The CBA was different and players got locked up for a lot longer, so they were kind of unable to move around with the flexibility that some of these guys do now. But still, from a purely competitive standpoint, how can you lose to a team in the Western Conference Finals and then join that same team that beat you in the offseason? The competitor in you should be eating you alive right now, KD. I just don't get how somebody can do that. Now, it is worth pointing out, folks, that Durant did sign a 2-year deal. Actually, more like a 1-year deal, because that second year is a player option. So he technically could opt out and pull LeBron James and go back to OKC. But I doubt that. What he's more likely to do is opt out and then sign a long-term deal for more money in Golden State. But unfortunately, it's just the current state of the NBA, folks. And it's my personal belief that it is killing the game. And I think that we're headed to a point where we're going to start to see some really strange things happening, folks. I mean things like contraction, things like constant lockouts, things where players and owners are at a constant struggle over power, over money, and I mean more so, way more so than it is now. Of course they fight about that stuff now, but I think at some point it's going to become a lot worse. As you can see now with all these super teams that are being built, the owners of some of these super teams are going to start looking down at the lower tier teams like, our teams are generating a much higher percentage of the revenue that's shared equally with all these teams. At some point, if it isn't already happening now, they're going to end up clashing with one another. And what's going to end up happening is we're going to end up having a league with about 20 teams, maybe a little bit more. I honestly believe that this is probably something that's been discussed. It's definitely something that's been thought about. And I can see us heading there right now, folks. These super teams are ruining the sport. It's the exact same thing that Dan Gilbert, Mark Cuban, and all the other NBA owners complained to David Stern about back when the Lakers were trying to load up with all that talent to get Chris Paul and pair him with Dwight Howard. And oh, by the way, that was ultimately the reason why the league decided to veto that deal. It wasn't anything about the Hornets or anything like that. It was all about parity and not allowing the Lakers to continue to dominate the NBA Finals. Now, you may or may not agree, but from where I sit, that's exactly what it was all about. Now, a lot of you guys might be thinking, okay, what's the solution here? How do we fix this problem? Well, what I'm hoping for is that a lot of what's happening is just some fluke loophole that the players are taking advantage of. And hopefully when all this new NBA money is done filtering in, that everything just calms down and works itself out. If not, we have to start looking at possibly trying to get rid of some of these 1+1 player option deals to where players don't have as much control, maybe raising the vet minimum. I have no idea, to be honest with you guys. This is just something that I'm observing with the current NBA, and I see that it's a real problem and something that needs to be addressed. But what do you guys think, though? What do you guys think about all this free agency movement, all these players going to new teams, all these super teams that are built now? How do you guys feel about that? Do you guys agree with me? Do you guys disagree? How do you guys think free agency turned out for your squads? Did you pick up everybody that you guys wanted? Did you miss some free agents that went elsewhere? What do you guys think? Drop me a comment below and let me know what's going on. Anyways, folks, that's just about all the time I got in this video. I know it ran a little bit long and it was a little unorthodox, but I hope you guys enjoyed it nonetheless. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'm signing off, and I'll see you in the next one.
Now it's reciprocated. You label me the villain cause your feelings in my palms, and your friends quick to grill me couldn't fit in my LeBrons. Wait, long story, see a few things different. Accusations one-sided plus a few things missing. The longer I thought, the longer the distance.